Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Graham. I'm a Liverpool author and I'm from Jamaican heritage, but I was born in Liverpool. And a story that was inspired by my three older siblings, it's not about them, but it was inspired by them, which I wrote it some time ago. It's interesting, this was originally written as a radio play, going back to as long ago as 2005. And it wasn't published as a story until 2020 during lockdown. So I would change it a few times since then. It's still the same story as it was when it was written for radio, but I changed the format and made it into a storybook. And during lockdown, just like everyone stuck at home, I found my writing time. So I actually enjoyed lockdown very much because it brought out a lot of creativity in me. So I revamped the story and I self-published it in June of 2020, June the 30th to be exact. Well, the ebook came out June the 30th and the paperback a few hours after midnight on July the 1st. Why June the 30th is special to me? Because that was my mother's birthday. So I was trying to get them both out at the same time. But anyway, this book is for children. Well, I've been told on some of the reviews I've seen on Amazon, people describe it as a good family read. So I'm quite happy with that. And I'm going to read an extract. I'll just give you a little bit where we're up to. At the point, what the story's about first is three little Jamaicans, obviously, and it's narrated by the main character whose name is Lenky. So while I was in England with my 9-year-old twin sisters, Blossom and Winsome, we go on an adventure while our father is working. My name is Lenky. I'm 7 years old and I dream of going home to Linstead in Jamaica, but first I must escape from pirates. So in the beginning, Lenky has been, he has two older sisters who, anyone who's got older brothers or sisters know the type of arguments you can get into over the silliest of things. So that's Lenky's situation. These are two twins and one of them always follows the other one. He's always getting into arguments with them. And they tend to get him to look after things, jobs that they're all given, they make Lenky do them on his own. So he doesn't like that. And this day, he was tasked with looking after a guy. He was sat outside the neighbour's house, and later that day, he actually lost the guy. And now, in the panic, to wondering what's actually happened to him, they've gone in search of him. So chapter 2 is called The Rotting House. We were at the top of the alleyway where the empty house was. It was not far, but we had to go down the other end, which was dark even though it was daytime, because the houses were so close it made a shadow all along the alleyway. Well, which house is it? Blossom said, grabbing my arm. Winsome pushed me forward. Well, Lenky, which one is it? Is you deaf? I pointed, my hand shaking, as I did not want to go back into the old house with its rotten walls and holes in the floor. But there was no turning back as Blossom and Winsome pushed me forward. We walked slowly towards the house, stepping over old shoes, broken television sets, broken bottles, loads of rubbish bins and mountains of dog poo. There was that much dog poo. I think someone was throwing it over the walls because I've never seen so much before. Not even Uncle Baz's cow made that much mess, and cows can make some mess. You had to always check you never stood in any, as Uncle Baz would go crazy and get vexed if you came into the house with cow poo on your feet. I stood in some once, and my shoe came off as I stepped out of it. We arrived at the house, and I pointed through the gap in the fence to a small window that had all the glass broken away and said, that's where I got in. You have to pull back the wood on the fence and get through into the back of the house. Blossom and Winsome looked around, making sure no one was watching, and pushing me out the way, they headed towards the wood and pulled it back and disappeared into the backyard. I wished I was running in the bush, chasing lizards and lapping tree frogs, I thought in my head, because I was scared what would happen next. I wished I was running in the bush, chasing lizards and lapping tree frogs, I thought in my head, because I was scared of what would happen next. The house was very old, and I cannot imagine that anyone ever lived there, and if they did, I wonder what they were like. In the bush, there was an old shack where I used to play and pretend to be a pirate, or that I'd been attacked by pirates and they'd stolen my treasure. It's funny because in my games, I always had my treasure stolen. I like it like this, and I would make the pirates walk the plank when I caught them. They always hid the treasure and would never tell where. People in Linstead said the shack used to be a hideout for slaves who escaped, and sometimes I used to pretend I was a slave who was hiding from the dogs and the masters with guns and whips. My pops would say that it was not nice to pretend to be a slave, but I didn't really know what a slave was. My pops would just tell me that I should find other games to play, and that to be a slave was not nice, as they were taken from their families in different parts of Africa and made to work in the heat of the day with very little rest, food or water. Pops also said that the slaves who escaped were very brave, sometimes helped other slaves escape. Pops later told me a lot about slaves and where they came from, because he knows lots about things from the past. It's his job. I stood there and I thought, I'm not staying out here on my own, so I quickly followed him through the wood as it slammed with a bang behind me. Blossom and Winsome had reached the window where you could get into the house, and I ran up to them as I was scared after staying outside by myself. Even though it was not more than half a minute, Blossom had that look on her face, and I knew what was coming next as she boxed me on the head. Why you have to bang the wood like that? Blossom said. It's why you have to vex me so, she said, looking at me and waiting for my answer. Sorry, I said. You will be now. Just shut up and move. You caused enough trouble already, said Winsome with a grin on her face. Winsome was enjoying Blossom telling me off, and as always had to say something as well. Winsome always took sides with Blossom. They both moved close to the window and were looking through into the old house. I came up close trying to see what they were looking at, but could not see as the window was small and not big enough for all three of us to poke our heads in at the same time. I tried again to see, but they kept nudging me out the way. Let me see, I said. Blossom whispered, shut your mouth, Lenky, and be quiet, or someone may hear us. There was no one about, so I don't think anyone could have heard us. It was so quiet, I decided to think of the noises in the bush, birds singing little songs while a yellow snake moved through the firm trees, hoping to catch himself a laughing tree frog, cuckoo, or a parrot, or even a woodpecker. Maybe the laughing tree frog always got away and would laugh at the yellow snake because he could never catch her. The woodpecker was always busy burying nuts in trees, and I would sit watching on the top of the old shack as its head hammered away at a tree trunk. Look, said Winsome. Over there. Blossom pushed ahead, far into the window, so far I thought she would fall right into that rotten house and through one of the big holes in the floor. Blossom quickly pulled her head out of the broken window, her eyes wide open, and said, I think I can see a leg, but I'm not sure. So thank you. That was just an extract from the Three Little Jamaicans English adventure, which all takes place in an afternoon. And if you want to know how that adventure ends, then this book is available on Amazon. It's also available in News From Nowhere bookshop in Bold Street, Liverpool City Centre, and still out of print books, which is on Smithdown Road facing the Mystery Park. That's in Liverpool 15. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you'll enjoy, if you ever do get the whole book, reading all of the adventure of the Three Little Jamaicans and find out if Lenky, Blossom and Winsome ever do find the poor guy who was left, lost by Lenky. And they're now searching for him in this old, dirty, broken down house. So thank you, I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to reading any comments or reviews that you might make about the book. So thank you again. Goodbye.